What is up, everyone? And we are back. So in this video, I'm going to be talking a little bit about an equipment that I got around December of last year, and it's actually a lens. So we're gonna do like a small review. I know there's like a lot of reviews out there already regarding this lens. The lens that we're gonna be talking about today is the Nikon 35mm 1.4. Not the non-S version, obviously. This guy over here. See? There you go. See it? That 35 mil. Let me see. Oh, there you go. 1.4. You know, it's the non-S version. And just kind of show you guys how the lens look like in the back. Let me open this thing up. See, this is how the glass of the lens look like. It's pretty big glass actually. And the cool thing is, this lens is actually very, very light, and that's a reason why I got it. And for my Nikon mirrorless Z cameras, I normally use my Sigma art lens, and we'll do a small comparison of this two between the two lenses. So yes, I had a Sigma art 35mm 1.4, and I love that lens. It's an F mount, and I had to use a FTZ adapter. And here, I'll show it to you guys. See, here's the FTZ adapter. This is how it looked like. This is the FTZ right here, and this is the Sigma art lens. As you can see that. There you go. And this lens has always been, a classic where it's legendary to me, at least. The 35mm 1.4, the bokeh, it was excellent. And for the Z cameras, I had to use the FTZ adapter. And the thing is, with this lens, it's heavy. So basically, just the lens alone itself is pretty much like a pound and a half, or I think, yeah, a pound and a half or 1.2 pounds in the lens alone. But if I add the FTZ adapter, this guy over here, obviously it adds a little bit more weight, right? And plus, if you can see it on my Z camera, it's like, it's like extended. Like, here's my Z8, by the way. So it's gonna be like that. That's how it looked like. It looks like a tele zoom. But since I love this lens so much, I try to look for lenses for the Z lens side where it's without using the FTZ at all, because you get more bells and whistles with if you get the dedicated Z lens. The focusing is not jerky. You can set it where it's like very smooth, all that kind of good stuff. And plus, I'm hoping it'll be lighter. So I checked out the Amazon and all these outlets for at least a 1.4 lens, including third party. I tried to look for one. Uh, I did saw one, and I was torn between the two because the price is kind of the same. One is like Sirui, so that's one of them, the Aurora. So that's probably when I looked it up, I was like, ooh, they one look good, except it's a little bigger. Probably the same size as these, the Sigma art, and I was torn between that or the Nikon, you know, Z version, and the non-S. So, and I was torn between the two. The Nikon one was a little bit more pricey, and I was hoping to get the Sirui. And don't even bother asking me about the S line. That one's just too big for me. Maybe one day, Not besides it's too big. It's like really expensive. So I don't have the money for it. So I needed something light, mobile, and more discreet. So it's either Sirui or this one, but I end up choosing this one. I think at some point in time last year, the Sirui started to get so popular that demand is even higher, and I noticed the price jumped like right away. I believe it's most likely because of all the content creators talking about it. They're raving all about it. If you want some kind of a budget lens, that is a 1.4. So I decided to just go for the Nikon one. So at least, but at least that way, I don't You know, there's nothing wrong between the camera and the body, because sometimes you never know, man. You know, you never know if the camera manufacturer decide to lock the mount, right? You don't know. So I just went ahead and got this, and I was hoping that I'd have the same feeling what I did or had with my Sigma art, and I was praying for that, you know. So when I finally got it, I was very happy. It looks very nice. The aperture ring is very smooth, you know. And then you have this other thing that you can program too as well. Sometimes I program this ring for ISO. If I do video, I would use this as ISO adjustment, you know, to manually adjust the ISO when I'm doing video work, you know. So, but yeah, so it's very nice, very simple. There's no manual auto flip, you know. Obviously, those are the downside. But man, when I look at the lens, the back side of the lens, I was like, holy moly, it's freaking huge, you know. I mean, it doesn't really matter really. If, as long as it says 1.4 and 1.4, but I just, you know, when I see big lens, it's like, whoa, it's like huge, you know. So, yeah, when I try it out, I mounted it on my Z8, and oh my God, it's a huge difference when I mounted it. It's like it's so light. I was like, holy crap, this thing is like one of the lightest lens that I have. So here, I'll show you how it looks like when I attach it, right? So when I attach these to my Z8, this is how it looked like. You know, so it's pretty tiny. It's not like, you know, it's plus super light, perfectly balanced, you know. I like it. I can actually put it in my gimbal. The gimbal that I have is the Bayutech S Corp, I think version 1, you know. So pretty much like everything's like manual stuff with that gimbal, and it's very light. I'm happy that, you know, I didn't have to worry about losing the balance, you know, with that gimbal. So this one I'm gonna put in the Sigma Art lens with the FTZ adapter. Look how big this FTZ adapter is, and this is how it looks like. It's like a tele lens, you know, tele zoom. So it's a lot heavier. I mean, still nicely balanced, you know. So, but it's just that if you carry this thing in your holster with the holster holder or whatever, it kind of start to feel like your pants is getting saggy or something, you know, because it's heavy. Uh, but yeah, so the nice things about this too is, you know, when I took a first photo of it, I was happy that it felt like when I first shot with my Sigma art. And this is very subjective, okay? It's very subjective. This is for my own personal opinion. That's how I felt. Because I remember when I first used the Sigma Art 1.4 on my DSLR, I was like, this this is not a real lens. What the heck is this? Why is it so perfect? The bokeh and everything like that is just like so creamy, you know? And ever since then, I fell in love with it. Like I got spoiled by it by that time. So now that I'm on Z lens, Z cameras, obviously I couldn't I have a I believe I have a 50 mil 1.8 Viltrox. You know, I don't have a 1.4. I mean, they're good. They're very good. I love their lens. The bokeh is nice, but you know, it didn't feel like a Sigma art to me. It doesn't feel like, you know, like the creamy thing. I don't know. I just didn't feel it as much. I love it. Don't get me wrong. But when I put the the Sigma art on my Z lens, the feeling is back, you know, and I love it. You know, the only thing is heavy. But then when I got this, like I said, I was hoping with this investment, still a lot of money for me uh, when I invested on it, and I was like, holy crap, this is the first time I felt what I felt at with my Sigma art when I got the F mount. So, but yeah, so if you want to see a comparison how big it is between the two, this is how the size is. This with the hood, okay? and this one is the Sigma Art, this is the Nikon, and that's how big it is. So let's take out the hood, right? Take out the hood, take out the lens cap, so you can see the actual size. Boop. This is the Nikon, this is the Sigma Art. Now let's remove the F mount, the FTZ adapter. This is Sigma, and this is the 35mm Nikon. See that? See the size difference? There you go. Oh wait, hold on. You gotta show off the glass, the back side of the glass. Let me move this thing around. Here we go. Sigma right here. Sigma. And this is the Nikon right here. Nikon. That's how big it is. There you go. See the light. It's pretty interesting showing them both together side by side, which is pretty cool. So, but yeah, so that's the two lens that I have, and let me get the hood. So there's like I like how the hood of this thing, and it's very it's actually pretty nice how it came in with a nice hood. So all right, cool. But yeah, so I know I'm trying to make it as quick as possible, but what I'm gonna do with these is I'm gonna show you a couple of test shots that I did between the two lenses. So the left side will be the Nikon, and the right side is the Sigma with the FTZ adapter. So I mounted on my Nikon Z8, and same distance, same lighting. I kept the white balance the same as well at 5K. The exposure composition at 0, but the ISO will be an automatic. That's how I put it on automatic, because I'll just let it balance itself out. So as you can see, I turn on the light in the background so you can see the bokeh and everything like that, or bokeh. So in here, the Nikon one, it seems like it shoots a little bit wider with a little bit of pink cushion in it, as you can see in here. And this one, the Sigma Art, it shoots a little tighter. It has a little bit more of a barrel distortion, the way I see it. So how I could tell is like, besides that, you can see how wider this one is compared to the Sigma Art. So the Nikon is wider and Sigma Art a little tighter. How you could tell is from this bokeh balls over here. Like the bokeh balls is a little bit further away from her hair, and while the bokeh balls are a little bit tighter towards her hair. So now let's go ahead and zoom in and see the difference. So you'll see the percentage down here. So I'm gonna zoom in closer on the Nikon, so you could see the bokeh balls, and they're all shooting at 1.4, both at 200 shutter speed too as well. So let's match it. 110, boop, 110. So there you go. That's how these two look. It's slightly different because, like I said, the Nikon shoots a little bit wider. That's why the bokeh balls moves a little bit to the, to the right. And the Sigma shoots a little tighter. It's more of a barrel distortion, so the bokeh balls moves a little bit closer here. So, and yeah, I mean, I know everyone talks about with a Nikon 35mm Z lens is like a character lens. That's very subjective the way I see it. I'm like, I don't know what character means, but okay, to me, between Sigma Art and Nikon, I mean, they both look really great. And I know that people talk about the aberration with these. I mean, my Sigma Art does have a little bit of aberration too, so I don't know if I could compare them both because they're two different class of lenses actually. So I mean, Sigma Art is supposed to be considered to be higher class of lens, but for a generic kind of Nikon, Z lens for 1.4, it's actually very good. When I'm doing the shoots with my 35mm Nikon, there were some aberration, but it can easily be fixed. As long as you kind of avoid the whole lighting the sun or too much light on the background, then you can avoid it. And the hood helps a lot too. The lens flare is not as bad, and but yeah, I mean that's what this two lenses, the tale of two lens between. It's not a versus. I love them both, but I just want to show you guys the comparison between the two. So, and another thing that I noticed, I don't know if you can pixel peep or see the difference. The Nikon shoots a little bit green, cooler side versus the Sigma has a little bit of a tint of a warmer side of color. So, like green, bluish on a Nikon, and Sigma Art has uh, a warmer yellow uh, tint. Maybe it's the lens coating, I don't know, but or maybe it's the hood because the hood, different lengths of hood could be like that too, or maybe the Sigma Art shoots a little warmer because, or and a little tighter possibly because of that FTZ adapter. Maybe it adds, you know, the 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 distance from the sensor to the lens could probably add to that too. Maybe that's another reason why it's tighter on Sigma. So, but so that's the tale of two lens. And for now, ever since I've been using the 35mm, I've been using several things. I did weddings on it. I did a couple of quinceañeras with it, and event uh, conventions, and I did some portrait shoots and photo shoots with these, which I'll show it to you guys in a small slideshow in a little bit. And oh man, I almost like I end up choosing this a lot of times nowadays, and I can walk all day with it, and I love it. So, and with the Nikon 35mm 1.4, right? I could use it. I use it for portrait. And what I love about my Z8 is it's a 48 megapixel camera, right? So I know 35mm, it's 35mm. It's a storytelling lens, right? So I can shoot mostly if I want to add a little bit more backdrop, a story on it when I'm doing some portraiture with it, I would do that. Now, if I want to do a little bit of a headshot or more fashion kind of look, like I actually crop it. And then this 35mm becomes 50mm. And if you crop it, your 48 becomes 24, 22 megapixels. So it's almost like the normal standard camera, right? Like almost like a 50 mil basically, and yeah, so I have a little trick that I do with these. So basically, pretty much when I'm walking around with my Z8 plus this lens, it's almost like I have two lenses with me, two prime lenses, since I turn it into 50 mil basically when I'm doing some portraiture, right, or fashion or anything like that. If I wanna because I know that 35 is very wide. It's already a wide kind of lens, so you can't. I wouldn't say you can't use portrait with it, but if you want to do you know, a full body with it, and then you shoot it vertically with a 35 mil, just gotta watch out by the time you get part of the limbs or the head in the corner of the screen, you might distort a little bit. So one way to also trick if you wanna get your subject to have a longer legs, you would angle your shot, either lower and then you shoot a little bit higher, and then you bring the legs or foot at the bottom part of the lens, and it kind of extends it long to make it look longer. That's like the little trick that you could do. But you mostly likely you want to keep them in the center of the frame, like the head, right? You want to keep it in the center of the frame as much as you can. Now, if I do 50 mil when I crop this, because then pretty much it's more in the center of the frame, where when you take a photo of your subject, they're not distorted because you're more focused on the center of the frame. I have a little trick on that. So instead of like fiddling around my oh, I gotta go crop it and then switch. But what I did is on my record button in here, when it comes to the camera side, you basically program it to do a crop. So pretty much this is how it looks like, right? So let's say I do this. This is my face, right? All right, there you go. That's full frame. If I press this red thing, boop, it crosses into 50 mil, you know. And you can find that out from here over here. This one over here. See, DX. DX is basically crop version. So if I press the record button again, it becomes FX. So you could see that. So that's like a little trick that so I could shoot them with 35 mil if I want to, blah blah blah, and then oh, I'm gonna punch in a little bit. Boop. I do the whole 50 mil thing, and I could either go further away to get the full body shot, and yeah, pretty much that's my little trick that you can probably use. I don't know, it's like a little giveaway tip that I can give out. So yeah, pretty much. The next one I'm gonna be showing you is the slideshow of the shoot that I did with a friend of mine. Her name is Uzai Brat, and she's a cosplayer. And we decided to shoot her character from the game Arknights. Her name is Wisadel. That's the character. And we got some reference shots. I probably will put in a little bit of BTS, a little bit. I was using a GoPro and it crapped out on me a little bit, but maybe I'll do a little bit of BTS on it. But basically, in terms of these photos from her and me, I basically used 35 mil the whole time, the Nikon lens, and I was shooting at 1.6. I know I could shoot 1.4 if I want to, but I want to add a little bit of sharper side of things because I know from what I read and from what I've watched, 1.4 they say it tends to get soft. So I just went for 1.6. I know normally people say do 1.8 so it's sharper, but hey, I was happy with 1.6 and it came out really good. So here are some samples that we did actually, and she did an awesome work doing these shoots that we did. You'll see that some of them are in 35 mil. I know it's kind of hard to find out, is this 35 or 50 mil. So this one is actually let me see what was it? Oh yeah, this one's actually a 50 mil. I cropped it, so when we did the shoot for a 35 Nikon 35 mil, I cropped it, so it's DX mode, and basically it's 50 mil. And I'll show you guys the 35 mil. Here it is. I'm gonna put it on. Hold on a sec. This 35 mil. It's kind of hard to tell the difference, but what you can see is the foot. So how it's more angled towards you, right? So that's the 35 mil. So I know it's tougher to see it, but those are the kind of tiny little details that I could see and I'm aware of. So yeah, the whole time I was just shooting at shutter speed 200 on this photo shoot that we did, and 1.6 aperture, and the ISO was in 400 the whole time because we were in a parking garage. And but yeah, so pretty much this 35 mil, and this is the 50 mil. So now you could see how this is more like the Nifty 50 look, different color. This one's 50 mil. I just get closer to her. So these are the shoot that we did. Now, if you're going to be wondering what kind of lighting I did here, I'll actually do another video on the Godox lighting that I use. Basically, I use what the side light to add dimension to her was my Godox the IT32. It was a very nice tiny flash. I'll do a small video of that. And I did not make that one as the key light for the thing is more like a back thing. You can see like a little light in here, so it's kind of hitting her from back here. And pretty much I just use the garage parking light as an advantage to be one of the key light. My key light actually is just a normal continuous lighting, which is the Ulanzi 40 watt. That's my main light. So that's my main key light. And the back is only, you know, just a small touch of light to kind of add a little bit of thing. And this is 35 mil, so you can see how I use the legs to kind of get it out like that. So, and I kept her in the central frame as much as I can, so her head does not distort. So there you go. This one's 35 mil. You can see from the leg how it's kind of stretches out like that. This 50 mil, this 35 mil, this 50 mil, 35 mil. I'm like punching in and out, you know. So, and this from outside. I did not use any of my strobe lights or any key light. The lighting is just nice outside, so it was nice and cloudy. And yeah, so these are the shoot that we did. And you can see this 50 mil, you know, the 50 DX crop mode. So yeah, so these are the, this one's definitely 35 for sure. Back in the garage again. This is a 35, you know, shooting at a higher angle. And then what I did with the flash on the side is I added a little bit of the orange gel. Forgot what it's called, but I like that little orange gel to kind of warm it up a little bit. And my key light is basically I just used the one outside, because a key light there, and then I added that my 40 watt 40 watt Ulanzi on the side too, as the key light. So basically we have a huge, pretty much like an open window sun outside. There you go. This one's 50 mil. I did the 50 mil version of 35 mil lens crop. See, this the 50 mil kind of DX crop. There you go. This one is actually 50 mil. This one's 50 mil. I just had to kind of move back more. So I'm at 35 mil. This one's 35 mil. I did not 50 mil in that one. This time around, I kind of started to run out of battery on my key lights, so I end up using the Godox IT32 as the main light, and it came out really good. You know, I just added like a diffuser kind of light that came in with the speed light itself. It's like a little white cup to diffuse the light. This one's 35, so because sometimes I play around with punching in, punching out, you know. So, and that's what I like about this. You can punch in, punch out, you know. So yeah. There you go. And that is it. So yeah, folks, that's the gist of this Nikon 35mm 1.4 lens. Yeah, so I know this this video is kind of getting long, but I just thought I'd show it to you guys and give like a open. It's not like really a review, but it is kind of like a review comparison. And make sure you guys follow her on Instagram, Uzai Brat. She's an amazing cosplayer, as well as model, you know. So, but yeah, and if you guys like this video, please send some support. Make sure you like this video, subscribe if you can, you know. So I'll be doing some more of these kind of videos too pretty soon. Not all product review, but it's more like a personal sharing experience of, you know, of my equipment and how I use it, music video highlights of conventions that I cover. And here's my cat Luna over here, just like to make an appearance like always. So yeah, and up until then, hope to see you guys next time. Later.